Okay, let's see what happens with zoom back.
The woman was charged with identity theft. Number 2. Surveillance footage shows insurance scammer intentionally hitting woman's car. A pedestrian is involved in a minor incident with a vehicle in a parking lot. The incident begins when a man carrying groceries claims a woman's car nearly hit him in a parking lot. He tells police she wasn't paying attention and hit him on the side as he crossed. The officers approach the woman, who shares her side of the story.
Hi, you called?
No, you gotta. I don't know.
Okay, what happened?
I was coming.
Okay, now it's where's her
The lady didn't give me a chance, so I was coming.
put on the shirt because gross.
I was telling the old man to tell me, go. So I looked this way.
Or just some kind of cop watch.
I didn't see him.
Scammer stuff.
But I was going 2 miles an hour.
Okay.
Oh, the police told me not to
Oh, what's going on?
Ma'am, you're in the middle of traffic. You can move your vehicle. He was crossing and the right of way. I turned around and all I saw was his hand on the hood of the car. So I did not see anything. I had been up at the front door.
Hey, I've got some gentlemen.
They couldn't make one very fast.
Where is it? I just had some over there. Here we go.
Go ahead. I was giving him a chance. I'm sorry that
It was like a pot of coffee and 2 pills.
People crossing in here, they have the right of way.
The problem is doing enough to stay awake and not so much that I get shaky.
I didn't think so. I just couldn't go with the old man.
Oh, I love my house. It's so equitable with the woods. I mean, I'm trying to paint it a color so that it blends in, so it looks like I live in a
the man recounts
forest.
his version of the events to the police, expressing
I don't
fear
want the
and
house to be
distress
visible.
over what
I want it to
happened.
just blend in with nature
Can you tell us what happened?
in every way. The windows are almost always open,
Okay.
except when it's really cold and really hot.
She brought me to school so I could sit down after the accident.
Okay.
I was walking, I had the right of way, and there was cars here that I nothing.
I had this British friend, and she complained about how cold it was in Britain,
She went forward.
and I just kept thinking, like, man, how can you not afford to heat your house when it's cold?
She was looking the other way. I don't know what she was looking at.
Now I know.
And when she went forward,
I mean, I can afford to do it, but I can understand how
here sideways. And when she went forward,
there would be a way to save money by not.
hand on the hood.
Okay.
And when I put my hand on the hood, I'm looking at her and I stop. And she like, she went forward with me. I almost felt. And she went. I would say about. It happened within seconds. Maybe about 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
For her to stop?
Yeah, because she was going forward, and I put my hand in the hood, and I literally thought I was gonna fall down with my bag of groceries. She was gonna fall over. But when I put my hand in the hood, I was saying stop. That's when she noticed. Oh,
I'd smack his hand on the hood real loud and get her attention, startle her. Oh, if he was stepping up. She had her foot on the gas pedal, it could have killed him.
Okay.
And then
No run games.
Alright, so this is you?
Yeah.
This is the car? Did it hit you or did it?
it went straight.
Duty bunch.
I pushed it.
Duty bunch. Duty bunch.
Okay.
Why must you move?
She pushed me. I was walking in front of her car. I understand. The crosswalk, so I could get to my car. And she
Move later.
went forward.
Okay.
I didn't notice I was walking in front of the car. But what she was telling me, she wasn't paying attention.
Okay. And what are your injuries? They just checked you out, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I got scared. I thought I was gonna, just gonna fall down with my bag of groceries. I worried about this day, right? The leaving place.
So luckily nothing happened.
No, because I was holding my bag of groceries.
Okay.
Walking with this one, holding the groceries.
Alright. Do you have your ID with you, sir?
Yes.
Just to reiterate, we're gonna go watch the video, okay? She actually made contact with you other than you putting her hand on the hood.
Yes.
Okay.
She made contact
It's
with me.
not an accident. She just got close to you and you just said, hey, and you slapped her hand on the hood.
She made contact with me, so I had to put my hand on the hook for her to stop going forward. That when I stopped her, she ran me over.
Why didn't you just floor it and get out of the way, Dick?
Is the address?
Beater of Pud.
No.
Pud Pounder.
Okay.
Pud Pounder.
What's your current address?
Orlando?
Head back with you just a
Down
minute.
the, pound the pud.
Right here.
You loser.
Alright. Just give me 1 second. We're gonna go take a look at the video.
Like
The police then review the surveillance footage from the
like a
parking lot.
rhino cowpoke.
They're advising ORMC
Diddling
1414
doodly doddly doodly doddly don.
Yeah, I guess it's not gonna be here, but I can check too. So.
And that guy came up literally to the side of her car at the last second as she was going.
Stalwart make me look better than I am.
When you call emergency if they're over there.
Easy, miny loves.
He said that the way he made it seem like he was being dragged to the car.
We. Why must you move? You.
1414 Stool.
Yeah, I guess it's not gonna be here, but I can check too. So.
And that guy came up literally to the side of her car at the last second as she was going.
NEC3, can you be 51 to when you call emergency if they're over there?
He said that the way he made it seemed like he was being dragged by the car.
After reviewing the video, the officers conclude their investigation.
What the doo-dog do? All the doo-dog do.
So you're more safe.
Yeah.
I get paid if I get hit by a car. You don't get paid.
No.
Alright, man. Here's your driver's license back.
Wow, cool. Hit right.
Okay, so here's that.
Let me send up
This is
more
gonna be a
things.
copy of the case summary. Basically, that's where your report's gonna be. You're not at fault for this, okay? So,
That's where there's any experience we can use. Like,
because it's not your fault that you came at
Fucking
Camera's
loosers.
right here. We reviewed.
Looser bugs. God damn it, motherfucking looser bugs. Get off me. Get off me. You're not. Oh, they'll be confused and wander around randomly.
Exactly. So
Like constantly, if I do it, I
I go
salute
right
you.
here and I go straight to this vehicle, and then I
Lover of Noma.
I'm at fault.
I love how they get those 2 hits in. Boink,
So
boink.
it's fine, okay? So
That's so cheaty. So goddamn. What? Come on, punch him in the dick.
if he wants to take this to court, we're gonna have the video surveillance, and we're gonna have over.
But they no gotti
what
ping.
happened based on what we witnessed from the security footage.
Turning into a drunken stream. Drunken stream.
Okay? But they have very good videos.
Oh, fuck
Okay?
you.
And we saw what happened, and you're fine. We saw you let sleep on your own. He did cross.
Fuck both y'all.
Right next to
And you and you and you.
You went
Here we go, man.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Okay?
A couple snuck by.
For you. Okay.
Because
Just in case.
I'm not gonna lie, he's probably gonna try to take.
They assure the woman she isn't at fault, but advise her to inform her insurance company in case the man pursues legal action.
But he's gonna try to take legal
So
action, more
boring.
than likely to try to sue. That's why you have insurance, but you're not found
They
at
should
fault.
play some music
We're
or
gonna
something.
put very good notes in there saying what we observed, and we have a
I
copy
mean,
of
YouTube
the,
probably clip me
of
for.
the video for
I don't know.
okay?
Twitch is always bitching about, oh, you were listening to the song while you were doing the stream. Ree. But people seem to be
But you're not found at
like
fault.
that. The musical ear girl who's doing the thing with the
Get in your car.
listens to shit. Well, I'm 30 years old and I've never heard Led Zeppelin before. I'm going to listen to them. Holy fucking shit. If you make it to 30 without hearing Led Zeppelin, I really don't give a shit what you think about them. But she gets to play her stuff. She doesn't get copyright strict. I guess I would have to do some kind of response to the song to make it not, to make it, what do they call that? A reaction, or use it in parody or something like that. Which I can definitely make a parody of anything.
It's gonna be a copy of the report that we're gonna do. Alright, that's gonna have to please sign it right there. We did have a chance.
Like Pink Floyd, another brick in the wall. If, I'd say, you can't have any pussy if you don't beat your meat. The actual lyrics, man, that song is really fucked up. This shows you freaking emo kids been here for a long, long time. There's always been emo kids. Just didn't call themselves that and band together on the internet like a bunch of retards. Yeah, I don't like this. This is stupid. Oh, wait. They're busting that dude for scamming.
You were not in the crosswalk. You were at her side, and then you cut in front of her. Like I said, it's crystal on that video. It shows you, had you waited an extra second, or even taken like 5 steps forward to go in front of her.
I mean, even if you would have gone behind her, you would have been okay. Unfortunately, because you cut right at the middle of her vehicle, I wouldn't have been able to see you. So, you do have to take care of it within 30 days. It is a $62.50 ticket, okay? What? $62.50. Okay. It's just a pedestrian violation.
Ha. Oh, wow. This is so like dude in a wheelchair or in one of those scooter, Walmart fat people scooters. He looks fit, but he's riding one.
Well, most importantly, no one got hurt, you know. So, okay. What? $62.50.
Oh, come on. I thought I remounted it more than there-ish. Y'all know. I want to hear him get called out. Yeah, I was getting bored.
What we observed, and we have a copy of the video for evidence, okay? I was going into the bank to take money to pay my daughter's rent. I was moving.
Pay my daughter's rent.
You're free to go. Just don't interact with them. Don't make any contact with them. Get in your car. Just go.
You're good. He's gonna find out what's gonna happen.
We want to make sure that you're gone before we start talking to him, because he's not gonna be happy. So.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pick up that laser cannon. Why not? Just chilling.
After releasing her,
Like
he explained the situation to the man.
We did have a chance to review the video. Based on the video, we find your fault for it. Okay?
You bouncing piece of fucking garbage. Shit, fuck. Wanker, no mask. Eat a dick.
The vehicle, and then you caught right in front of it. She wasn't able to see it. That's actually a
Eat the pile of dick.
Crystal clear on the video. They have cameras at every angle. She's good. She let the person.
Oh my fucking titty niggers.
You were not in the crosswalk.
Titty whiskers. Excuse me.
Side of her car at her wheel well. You were like.
Titty whiskers.
There's no way she would call you.
But she was a better attention when I went for the car.
You were not in the crosswalk. You were at her side, and then you cut in front of her. Like I said, it's crystal on that video. It shows you, had you waited an extra second, or even taken like 5 steps forward to go in front of her.
I mean, even if you would have gone behind her, you would have been okay. Unfortunately, because you cut right at the middle of her vehicle,
Oh, man.
no one, I wouldn't have been able to see it. So, you do have to take care of
All
it
right, well,
within
I'm just
30
gonna
days.
get
It is a
back
$62.50 ticket, okay?
It's what?
$62.50.
Okay.
It's just a pedestrian violation, okay? The instructions are in the back. Yeah. You can do it online, you can do it over the phone, sir. You can go in person. It's up to you.
You can go to prison. You scamming piece of shit.
Evidence, okay?
Headquarters to any unit in the Conway area that could be 51 for Spanish.
But you're
All
not,
right,
you're
ma'am.
not found at fault,
Yeah,
okay?
you're free to go. Just don't interact with them. Don't make any contact with them. Get in your car and just go.
After reviewing
Oh,
the
shit.
video,
Hang on. Oh,
the
this
officers
is a part
concluded.
of it. Like they're
She said
replaying the
that
video where the dude
the way
jumped
he
in
made
front of her car in a wheel, in a one of those scooter thingies.
Yeah, he was so extra.
So extra.
The way he made it seemed like he was being dragged by the car.
They're advising ORMC 1414 fuel.
Alright, yeah. That's not gonna be here, but I can check too. Adult.
And that guy came up literally to the side of her car at the last second as she was going.
Can you 23, can you 51 to when you call them to see if they're over there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he moved. He was so extra.
Yeah, he walked right in front of her.
He said that the way he made it seemed like he was being dragged by the car.
Jano. What's up, Jordan?
After reviewing the video, the officers conclude their investigation.
Jane says it's my turn to play Mario.
I get paid if I get hit by a car.
Alright, man. Here's your driver's license back. And I got your insurance. Go in here. Okay, here's.
Even
Here's that.
smells like your
Alright,
butt.
this is gonna be a copy of the case number.
Oh, I didn't get the murder rate. Still in the group.
At fault for this, okay?
Hellheads.
Because it's not your fault that you came at you. Cameras right here. We reviewed.
We don't.
No, it's okay.
I told him they didn't hit me.
Wink your fart ass.
No, it's not that you didn't hit him. It's that
The man always did because and that's the way he did. You bumped him, but it was his fault.
right, exactly. So what ends up happening is if I go right here and I go straight to this vehicle and then I cut and go right in front of it to use the crosswalk, I'm at fault.
Telling the old man.
Does that make sense? So you're fine, okay? So nothing's gonna come up about this. We're still gonna go report because if he wants to take this report,
Dude, he was
we're gonna have video surveillance.
And it was
And we're
good.
gonna have a report there showing what happened based on what we witnessed from the security footage.
Oh, now I'm not in the party. I'm murder rated.
They have very good video.
Looking
You
foozers.
saw what happened, and
I
you're
can
fine.
get my water
Somebody
now.
let the other person in front of you go.
That's alright. I didn't want to play with you anyway. No mas. Shut up. I'll be back in a minute.
Allied destroyer has joined squadron.
Oh, shit.
Engaging orbital thruster.
Hey, what's up, James?
What's up, sir? How you doing?
I'm probably doing too well.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So I'm probably doing too well. I've been drinking, I've been smoking, I've been having a great Saturday.
Oh my goodness. Dude, I should join you. Hang on a minute. Let me get me a little whiskey. How's that? It's about as far as I go.
That's what I'm drinking.
Little Pendleton.
Maker's Mark used to be my go-to, but I kind of switched to Johnny Walker Red.
I like Maker's Mark's not bad. Johnny, I don't think I've ever had the other.
Yeah, Johnny Walker Blue is about 150 a bottle, but Johnny Walker Red's only 50.
Oh, I've had Johnny Walker. Dude, I don't like it. The blue, I didn't like it. I had a guy get me a bottle of that after I did a job. He's like, because he knew I liked whiskey, you know. And he's like, oh, let's try this out. And I'm like, I felt bad because I'm like, I don't like it. I didn't like it.
Well, I get that. And for a gift, I would recommend Oban.
Well, I can just sit and kind of sip it, you know. It's got to taste good to me. That's the bad thing about whiskeys. You can go to I'm not a wine guy by any means, but you go to these wine things, you can taste them and see what you like. And when it comes to whiskey, you kind of like, well, I guess I'll buy this bottle. I'm either going to like it or not.
Right, because after you have 10 shots of whiskey, you pretty much don't give a fuck what it tastes like.
Exactly right.
You have that first glass of the night whiskey, then you have the rest of the night whiskey.
That's right.
But
I like Pendleton. Pendleton's good.
I've heard the name. I don't remember having it.
Yeah.
Which is not bad. It's not a bad thing. I don't remember any bad experiences with it.
The hour of our next victory rapidly approaches. Let us cleanse the gap.
I OD'd on Crown Royal when I was in high school. Just the smell of it will practically make me puke now.
I got a Pendleton straight bourbon. It's a 10-year-old bottle.
Battery gets so much.
I haven't even opened it yet. I think you'd like it. I'm more of a rye whiskey type. You know, and not. I don't like what I consider a barrel taste.
All right. Well, I was going to say that for a gift, rather than say Johnny Walker Blue, which is $150, and it's a blend, so most people would find something to like about it. But I would recommend Oban if it's a whiskey aficionado.
Yeah.
Because Oban has, to me, it has a very peaty taste. I mean, the flavor is just very Irish. You know, it's just whiskey as whiskey can get, pretty much.
What are you running?
Oh, I don't care. I was just running.
Stop. Go lay down.
I was in medium, so I was just running junk. But I don't know. What do you want to do? I can fix.
Are you running poison?
Oh yeah, we can do that. I haven't run poison today because I tried it when I first started, and even at level 3, I was just getting my ass handed to me, and so I quit playing for the afternoon, took a nap. But yeah, with backup, it'd probably be a good. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do some poison. That girl is poison.
No star.
But a single triumph more, and the operation is complete.
Mission coordinates locked.
The paradigm of patriotism.
Engaging orbital thrusters.
Queen of the fleet.
They up this game though, man. I'll tell you, you do a 10. Oh my goodness. It's just bugs after bugs after bugs after bugs after bugs.
Yeah, like I said, I was doing a 3, and I was like, wait a minute. If I can't wake and bake and play at level 3, something's wrong. Something's very, very wrong. They did something all across the board. Yeah. Nuka-Cola. Like a move.
I'm liking the old hover pack, sir.
It's pretty spicy.
Yes, it is.
Oh. Ow. Do what you want to do.
I got a new remote today.
What I want.
Or controller, I should say. I'm going to take my headphones off a second.
Remote for what?
No, I said I got a new controller today. My other one was, I don't know, you use a computer, don't you?
I sure do.
Yeah.
PC Master Race.
I play on a PS5. And my,
That's
and the
okay.
controllers...
I've had other gay friends. That's totally cool.
I don't know why yours is not as loud as this damn game. But I'm sure you were talking some smack to me.
I was saying PC Master Race, and then then you said you played on a PS5, and I said that's okay. I have other gay friends. No, but seriously, I did date this girl. She was a PlayStation fangirl, and so I got respect for the PlayStation because she beat me at bad. What was that? What was that weird little quirky? It's a first-person shooter, Borderlands. Yeah, she had me play her on her big-ass TV and her PlayStation on a controller, which I haven't held a controller in 10 years, and she kicked my ass at Borderlands. I was like, all right, well, you'll pay for it later. It's all right.
Oh, shit, dude, we got all kinds of bugs. there's some bugs, man. Jesus. Oh wait, I have a hover pack. Maybe I should use it.
I don't want to tell you how frequently I forget that I'm wearing a hover pack and just get murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just one button away from freedom, you know? You know, there's the whole thing, oh, I wish I had another stratagem, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. But more often, I have shit I'm not even using.
Yes.
Sub-objective near your location.
Tagging map. North. 100 meters.
Why does my cough sound like a cat?
You're fine. Okay?
Here you go. That's for you. Okay.
Let your insurance company know, though, because
Just in case.
I'm not gonna lie, he's probably gonna try to take legal action.
They assure the woman she isn't at fault, but advise her to inform her insurance company in case the man pursues legal action.
But he's gonna try to take legal action, more than likely to try to sue. That's why you have insurance, but you're not found at fault. We're gonna put very good notes in there saying what we observed, and we have a copy of the video for evidence. Okay?
I was going to the bank to take money to pay my daughter's rent. I was moving.
Pay my daughter's
Headquarters to
rent.
any unit in the time area that we've been doing.
Chinga tu pinche madre.
You're free to go. Just don't interact with them. Don't make any contact with them. Get in your car. Just go.
Pinche chingado.
You're good. He's gonna find out what's gonna happen. He's gonna
So
get a ticket.
we want to make sure that you're gone before we start talking to him because he's not gonna be happy.
You motherfucker.
All right.
After releasing her, they explained the situation to the man.
No way. No way. Wow. Holy shit.
Loading up.
Man, this thing's not turning on.
It will. It's loading up right now. It's still yellow.
Rub the little man in the boat.
Here it comes in about 3 seconds. There it is.
Roger that. Keys turned on.
That's actually a pedestrian violation. Okay.
Just clear the city first, yeah?
They have cameras at every angle. She's good. She let the person in the crosswalk.
What do you want to do?
Clear the city?
Clear the map?
Clear the city.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, wait. Do we have to go north first? And
Well,
then
yeah,
come back?
we're not done yet. We still have to go do the
Yeah,
little,
we got to go north.
the little
We have to
teardrop
go
thing.
north and then come. Yeah, up top. All right, let's head there.
Okay, I opened a bunch of YouTube, so now I'm done with this piece of shit. Blur. No. Reopen close tab because...
Really? Just got to call your friends, huh?
Alright, let's see what's... Oh, this is going to be fun.
1945, the German
Probably
armed
about...
forces signed their unconditional surrender to the Allied powers. World War II, at least in Europe, was over. But now that the guns had fallen silent, the US, Britain, France and the Soviet Union had to face a daunting conundrum. How to deal with the active members of the National Socialist Party, the SS, the Wehrmacht and other organisations who had committed some rather extreme war crimes and crimes against humanity. On top of that, how to rid the fabric of the fallen Third Reich society from the pernicious influence of an extremist ideology so many had bought into. After all, in some respects, with those who had bought into the ideology wholly, it would have been like going back to the 1700s American South and trying to convince a mass group of slave owners to completely and almost immediately rethink their ideas on slavery and those of African descent in the nation. A seemingly impossible task. And then beyond ideological shifts, just from a practical standpoint, how to speed up economic recovery for the nation and ensure nothing like this would happen again in the country and provide a strong buffer between the Soviets and the rest of Europe. So, how was this all accomplished, and how did they do it so fast, and just how successful was all of this in reality?
Just before we get back to Simon diving into today's video, let's talk about something that keeps our authors going during those long writing sessions locked in Simon's basement.
Cocaine. Okay, let's scoot on. Let's move on. Move on. Move on.
Countless more have no need to escape. Entities within the Allied and Soviet forces were more than happy to look the other way about anything they got up to during the war, owing to the knowledge contained in their brains. And we've got more on that in just a little bit. But when looking at the more wide-scale process of denazification of the citizenry, most of these efforts consisted of special tribunals reviewing the alleged Nazi.
You don't have to sell me on cocaine. I just don't like how much trouble you get in. The most expensive part of cocaine is if you get caught with something.
To get rid of various works that espouse Nazi ideology. On that latter,
But it's a hell of a drug.
30,000 different books were not only banned in the country after the war, but also
Cocaine, weed, and alcohol make a
destroyed. Anyone who tried to
beautiful
copy
cocktail.
would face consequences. The irony of this was not lost
A
on
cocktail
anyone, given
I can stay
this
up and enjoy
was
for
more or less
hours.
a tactic taken out
It's
of the
not
Nazi
days.
handbook when they came to power. Beyond this, as alluded to, there was the general populace who were made to feel responsible for what Germany had done under the Nazi
You need
regime, with the psychological
weeks. No,
warfare
don't do
division
weeks.
Supreme
Don't do
Allied
weeks. Your
Headquarters
brain needs sleep.
Expeditionary
It's
Force
very important.
taking point on this. They began efforts here, seeing to it that the media, from radio to newspapers, not only strongly emphasized the atrocities in their coverage, but also explicitly noted that it was every
But
single
I have a
German's
prescription
fault
for
allowing it to happen,
amphetamine,
not just the
so
Nazis.
I know
Another rather
what it's like to
overplayed
include
taken
them in the
Nazi
mix.
handbook, although to be fair,
Not
in this
too
case, probably
shabby.
emphasizing educating the German public on all the atrocities that had actually been committed, unlike much of the things which had been made up by the Nazis. Beyond the various media outlets, posters were put up all around showing pictures from concentration camps with giant text overlaid saying things like, "You are guilty of this." As noted by British author James Stern, in one German town, quote, "A crowd gathered around a series of photographs which, though initially seemed to depict garbage, instead revealed dead human bodies. Each photograph has a heading. Who is guilty?" The spectators are silent, appearing hypnotized, and eventually retreat one by one. The placards are later replaced with clearer photographs. Placards proclaiming, "This town is guilty. You are guilty." On top of that, in towns near concentration camps, the citizenry were often made to tour them and even help bury the dead, help dig up mass graves and things like this, with films also being made of this by the American War Information Unit to be shown to Germans who couldn't see for themselves. As noted by the chief of the film division of psychological warfare, Sidney Bernstein, the point of all of this was to, quote, "shake and humiliate the Germans and prove to them beyond any possible challenge that these German crimes against humanity were committed and that the German people, and not just the Nazis and SS, bore responsibility." The general shift in mindset to blame all Germans and not just the Nazis began around 1944, with before this generally a distinction being made by the US brass and with the US public, whereas after a strong push to solidify in everyone's minds that there was little difference between a Nazi and a non-Nazi German citizen. This also seems to have been a general mindset pushed by the military brass to their own troops, warning soldiers that, quote, "the majority of Germans supported the Nazis, tried to make friends with us, to get information, to get favors, to create sympathy for the poor, downtrodden German people, to make us
What a
disagree
fucking
among ourselves, or just to get a good chance to slip a knife into Allied soldiers." Speaking of the soldiers, and going back to take pages out of the Nazi handbook, it is also noted that during
I got
the
gnomed.
Nazification process, not just on the Soviet side, but on the US side as well, frequent random beatings and rape of German civilians out and about was a thing. As one German professor noted, these assaults have become notorious among the civilian population of Marburg. Nobody risks going out in the evenings, and people feel as if they were exposed to acts of indiscriminate brutality with no means of protection. But in all, to help change the mindset of the German populace who had bought into the Nazi ideology, the general push was to show the atrocities that had been committed and try to make every German citizen feel
On your left, there's a spewer right there.
punish those more directly involved and rid society of them in any prominent position. Very
I was trying to kill that fucking thing.
codified as early as July of
I don't. It usually takes 3 or 4 shots from the eruptor.
Millions of card-carrying Nazi party members had already been reviewed and sanctioned by April 1948. But that's
get it?
all at a very high level. So how was this
Yeah, I think so.
actually accomplished, and how was it done so quickly? To begin with, the process of removing National Socialism ideology from the social fabric of Germany was conceived long before the end of the war in Europe. In fact, the term denazification itself was coined in 1943 by the Pentagon as they began thinking about what the post-war Germany legal system would look like. And as early as August 1944, this had all gotten expanded, with US President Franklin Roosevelt writing in his memos that the Allies
Okay, now it's clearing up. I was gonna say, well, I can't see a goddamn thing, so I don't think it's.
The same sentiment was expressed more formally. Roosevelt met with Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin at the Yalta Conference in February 1945. On that occasion, the so-called Three
I should
Greats
turn this down so I don't have to yell.
the
Oh my goodness, golly, Norbert.
Europe.
Norbert!
The term denazification itself was coined.
That's right, my ex-wife had a cousin named Norbert.
That's all at a very high level. So how was this actually accomplished?
Yeah, I was been retarded my whole life.
National Socialism ideology from the social
Fuck you.
I
see what he done did there. Done did there. Done did there.
And as early as August 1944, this had all gotten expanded. US President Franklin Roosevelt writing in his memos that the Allies should drive home to the Germans that they had participated in a war's conspiracy. The same sentiment was expressed more formally when Roosevelt met with Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin at the Yalta Conference in February 1945. On that occasion, the so-called Three Greats clarified that denazification was to be considered a strategic war aim. More precisely, the removal of all Nazi and militarist influences from public offices and cultural and people. The Third Reich surrendered on May the 8th, 1945. The drive of denazification was restated in the Potsdam Agreement of August 1945. By that month,
I want it to be Froggo, but it's not Froggo.
It's
not a piercing
Nazis
Froggo.
were under arrest, while the Soviets had already proceeded to the internment of 67,000 officials. Such a huge endeavour could not be conducted willy-nilly, of course. Allied occupation forces clearly state the denazification objectives and parameters, as well as the categories and related sanctions of Nazi offenders. According to a US Department of State memo of July 1945, the objectives of the denazification.
I'm going to start out here. You can get the one at the terminal.
Leaders, supporters, and any other persons dangerous to the Allied occupation or its objectives.
Fuck you. Should get the other one. I love puns. Punny motherfucker. God, that dream was so intense. I keep remembering what it felt like. Just sit on the couch, hold her hand, and look into her eyes after we'd both been through some of this traumatic fucking military nightmare experience. And we finally got some time to be back together. And we had our hands clasped together. And she was just looking down. And I was trying to meet her eyes. And she looked up and met my eyes. And we just understood each other. And all these feelings went into started swirling around in a loop and stuff.
Turn yours. You gotta turn it, bro.
Yeah, I did. Something happened.
There you go.
I think I turned it the other way too.
It must be that PC thing.
Yeah. Too many buttons, man. 104 keys. God damn it.
All right, where are we heading? Back into town, I guess, huh?
Gonna go down south.
Yeah.
Just talking about it just now, I wish he hadn't said anything, and I can understand why I messed up in the game, because it felt real, and when I was talking about it, it was real in my head. We were holding hands, making eye contact, and just became one. You know, just the way you know you're with the right person for right then. And I qualify that with time because sometimes the right person becomes the wrong person, and sometimes you pick the wrong person instead of the right person for the time of the life that you're in. And so, anyway, and philosophical bullshit. I'm playing video games and watching YouTube. YouTube without clip or some shit.
All paraphernalia, so central to Nazi propaganda. symbols, flags, and anthems. And finally, F, complete removal of Nazi ideology from the German Information Services, schooling system, and religion. Having clarified what denazification was about, Allied forces had to define how it would be carried out. The Allied Control Council reached an agreement only in January 1946, issuing Directive 24, which contained guidelines for a coordinated approach. As we shall see later, it was again not coordinated. In each of the 4 occupation zones of Germany, the Allies set up ad hoc denazification commissions and tribunals, which involved the participation of local vetted individuals such as union leaders, judges, and advocates of Nazis. The rulings of these bodies were made on the basis of an extensive...
Oh, horse shit. Cover me. Oh, shit. Never mind. I was reloading and this one came out of nowhere.
That little tiny bug?
Well, I was reloading. I couldn't do anything, you know? But thank you. Yeah, that was exactly what I needed. Somebody keep that fucking thing from snacking on me while I'm trying to reload my damn machine. Breathing is not the best plan. I'm going to give it a 0 out of 10. Well, I think it's a 3 out of 10 because I didn't breathe it down enough to cough for 15 fucking minutes like I do sometimes.
These bodies would then cross-check all the answers against police files, civil service records, and the very archives of the Nazi Party. The purpose of this screening was not to identify all German citizens who had joined the party or an adjacent organisation at any point, as there were very few exceptions. The Allied military government, in fact, agreed to safeguard from sanctions the purely nominal member of the Nazi Party who was forced to join in order to retain his position of livelihood or escape the concentration camp. The point was to ascertain if the individuals under scrutiny had been involved in more than just a nominal capacity in supporting the Nazi regime, if they had contributed to perpetrating war crimes and crimes against humanity, or if...
Yep, there's the thing. I was like, where's the fucking thing?
Based on these factors, respondents would be classified as follows. Major offenders were to be sentenced to imprisonment or even to death. Then you had the offenders, activists, militarists, and others who had profited from Germany's war of aggression who could face up to 2 years.
I was in a chat with some dudes, and I posted this picture. It was like a dossier-looking thing, and I said something to one of the dudes about sharing confidential information in a Discord server, and some other guy pops off. He's like, well, then why are you posting that? And it did look really official. I said, that is a screenshot I took in Call of Duty, the spy game thing. It's not actual information. Sorry, I'm watching this video and they're talking about people sharing secrets and all this stuff, and it just reminded me of that. Because that dude was a analyst or something for the... yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did that kind of security work and was like, well, why are you posting security shit if you're bitching at people for posting security shit? And like, I just took the screenshot from the video game, man. I'm not talking real shit. Yeah, I have a ridiculous amount of NSA paraphernalia. I've got a whiskey glass, a pewter coaster, socks.
NSA?
Yeah, yep. But, you know, thanks to Snowden, they can't pay attention to anything that
I'm gonna throw
happens
supplies here
inside the country. They're foreign espionage only.
Next, you have the somewhat murkier category of lesser offenders.
Have you ever heard of Reality Winner?
No.
What's the name of a girl that used to work at this position, and she leaked a document about how the Russians were trying to hack our election machines, and She's been in jail
No
for
way.
about 7 years. Yeah, but you know her parents named her Reality Winner, so you know she was a spoiled little entitled asshole. My friend said she drove one of those weird like Kia Souls or something, that little square truck.
Oh yeah.
And went to the gym all the time. I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, it's a goofy looking thing, but you know, I'm not gonna hate her for it. But yeah, she leaked the document and they scanned it. The Intercept put it online. If you Google Reality Winner, the Intercept, you'll find the document. And they looked at the creases in the folds of the document and compared that to how the one that was missing was in her, back pocket. It's like, yeah, you would have folded this exactly this way if you wanted to put it in your back pocket and take it home and scan it and send it off. Like, oh, and also, all our printers remember everything that's ever been printed and who printed it, and you put in your code and you printed that document, and you can't produce that document, so why? Where did it go? But it's, yeah, the Russians tried, and mostly what they ended up doing, they couldn't get into the hardware, so they tried to do those phishing attacks where they would send people with access to the machines, phishing emails, click on this link to restore your whatever account, you know what I'm talking about. And they tried to get into it that way. And they did infiltrate several people by doing that and got into their computer and planted shit. But it never made it all the way to affecting any of our elections. But they're trying. Yeah, I'm out of everything. Stems, grenades. I'm out of stems and grenades. I'm going to call it a resup because I'm pretty much just burning my ammo until I die at this point. But thank you for being there for me. Fuck. Or is it fa? Q or fuck you? We'll never know. Ribbit.
Firing gas strike. Calling down fortifications. Dropping a pin. Northwest, 300 meters.
Let's go to extraction, bro. Come on, thank you for saving me. Let's go.
Subjected to a probationary period of up to 3 years. Rank-and-file followers and supporters in this regime with no specific active responsibilities might encounter a fine and be subject to some surveillance. And finally, exonerated individuals would receive no sanction.
If you stop the Jeep, I'll get in.
Anybody from lesser offender and up were deemed to have had more than a nominal participation in the Nazi Party's activities. As such, conditions for sanctions
Danke.
they would face mandatory removal from their post, be them military officers or public officials. Alright, so we've covered how the denazification of Germany should progress.
Hang on, I'm going to get my own Jeep.
Well, especially in the US-controlled occupation zone, military authorities started with a bang, preemptively detaining 100,000 Germans in internment camps before they had even started filling in their 130,000. But when the tribunals...
Oh shit, they did something. I'm flying.
discerning rank and file party members who less serious offenders was no easy task.
That was awesome.
Occupation troops in Munich, in fact, discovered the party's entire registry, the names of 12 million card-carrying members. But according to Arlev Siemka, the US Army Center of Military History, quote,
Why wouldn't it fucking do the fucking thing with the fuck?
What were Nazis next? The military occupation authorities plan to sift through all of those 12 million individuals, trying to identify the worst that humanity had to offer. And it turns out that many of those 12 million Nazis have training, experience, energy, affability, and not a bad political record. As reported by Ziemka, American troops found those under scrutiny to be, on the whole, surprisingly pleasant chaps, which made their denazification efforts all the more difficult. A US high-ranking officer commented that if all the Nazis had been exceedingly unpleasant and rude, denazification would have been easy. On the other hand, many among those Germans who were not former members of the party could fall into two categories: those ballsy enough not to fall for Nazi ideology and propaganda, and those who had applied for membership but had been rejected. Interestingly, the former were equally not keen to cooperate with the Allies.
Es no pinche bueno, pincho.
Society. And that was the problem. Denazification was all well and good, but the Allies were also seeking to rebuild German society from its ruins and as fast as possible. If they made a clean sweep of anybody even loosely associated with National Socialism, in Ziemka's words, they were going to have to run the country with old men until the next generation grew up. The number of political acceptables between the ages of 20 and also trained and competent was exceedingly small. So that was the first. The second one was that the whole program required a huge bureaucratic apparatus. Which
we gotta get something else or what?
In the US-controlled zone,
what's that?
The commissions and tribunals
yeah, he's honking his horn.
10 million questionnaires.
Well, I'm on base. I mean, we're ready to go.
But even so, trained manpower was scarce, and even those Germans who were willing to participate were reluctant to dish out harsh sanctions on their fellow citizens.
I wonder if that little fucker got his call out.
Defendants in these tribunals had found a convenient way out. They could easily obtain signed sworn affidavits from priests or even just from friends and neighbors attesting that the defendant was a mere rank and file follower or that he or she could be altogether.
Eating more food is like doing more cocaine. I can drink more and smoke more if I eat. I'm on an empty stomach, everything just builds up so fast.
In other words, they believe a defendant's reputations clean. Eventually, US authorities could not cope with the red tape associated with denazification in their controlled areas, and with tensions rising between the Soviets and the US, their focus also suffered. Particularly, how much more concerned with Germany's rapid economic recovery, rather than trying to make sure everyone paid for their crimes and weren't allowed to be in public positions. A similar thing happened over in Japan with the now termed reverse course policies. But back in Germany, with this shift on they formally transferred all such duties to
this thing,
German
not so great.
Something that the British had done a few months earlier.
The green thing.
On that note, with the British and French occupation zones, local military governments
it's a whole different world.
both
It's a whole
prioritized
new world.
administration and economy to cope with housing.
How's that song go, Mook?
Thus, they were even less
You're a Disney fan, right, Princess? Princess Padme. Yeah. The blue one is muy lame. The green one is muy bien. Grove school. I don't know. I'm drunk. I'm highly mellow.
In the end, in total, the French only labelled 13 total individuals in their region as major offenders. Finally, moving to the Soviet occupation, the removal of Nazi ideology.
My nose doesn't seem to be stopped up now.
Nazification proceeded hand in hand with the Sovietization of Eastern Germany, that is, extensive land reforms. Moreover, while Western allies strove to replace Nazi officials with political representatives from a broad spectrum, Moscow had a preference for the KPD, or Communist Party of Germany, or later the Socialist United Party, or SED. However, according to historian Timothy
Socialist.
the denazification in the Soviet
Isn't it funny how fascists love to call themselves socialists?
Thanks to the cooperation of the KPD, Soviet authorities were able to delegate most denazification
United Soviet Socialist Republic, the Republic of the People's Republic of China. What does the USA call itself? A democracy? No, the US calls itself a republic. All the fascist places do that. Good to know.
Germany had not resulted in the intended restructure of society. December of that year, international relations scholar John Charles, the US delegation of the Nuremberg trials, published an article with the self-explanatory title of The Fiasco of Denazification in Germany. Hers focused on the American operations, reporting how trials conducted there were frequently hindered by intimidation on the part of Nazi sympathizers. Even without intimidation, prosecutors based their indictments of
21 hours remaining. I don't believe you.
Thus, most defendants
You know, fucker.
Moreover, after denazification had been handed over to German authorities in March 1946,
Guess I can cut it into
one in August, one in December, exonerating members of the youth, persons of low-income and disabled citizens.
Order?
Pointed out how such amnesties allowed even more criminals to escape execution. The scholar also announced a major procedural flaw. Until October 1947, denazification processes of veterans number, but the tribunals had given precedence to those who had been classified as followers on the basis of offenders. By the time the tribunals finally worked their stash of paperwork to those classified as offenders, a legislative amendment allowed prosecutors to recategorize them as followers with the exception of members of the SS. Such recategorization still required approval from the Allied military government, but in January 1948 this procedural step was removed by the enactment of an expedited procedure. Now, all offenders could be rubber-stamped as followers wholesale. A further relaxation of standards took place in March of 1948 with the almost total removal of the exception clause for members of the SS and other criminal organizations affiliated to the Nazi Party. Now, only those belonging to the category of the major offenders could expect major sanctions. Everybody else was deemed a follower and was free to go after paying a fine. As for the numbers on all of this, some 12,753,000 Germans were expected to undergo the denazification procedure. More than 9 million were found not chargeable. The remaining 3.2 million were processed by the end of April 1948, and of these, more than 2.3 million were amnestied without trial. That left 836,000 to be tried, a mere 6.5%. More than one-third of these were exonerated, and more than half were classified as followers. Of the remainder, 10.7% were classed as lesser offenders, 2.1% were class 2 offenders, and only 0.1% were found to be major offenders. That's 836 individuals from the nearly 13 million person pool. And even those who were sentenced as offenders in any degree of severity, most received lenient sanctions such as community work, payment of fines, or short prison sentences. Hers proceeded to compile several examples of such lenient treatments, of which we shall report only a few. An active propagandist and publisher of anti-Semitic writings was ranked as a follower and fined a mere 50 marks. The dean of Bonn University, active member of the SS and their intelligence services, the SD, was fully exonerated. A high-ranking member of the Gestapo was found to only be a follower and received a minor fine. Another Gestapo man, head of a station in the town of Fulda, was also a follower. And the former deputy chief of police in Nuremberg, and one of the men responsible for the infamous Kristallnacht, also a follower, and fined 800 marks. One physician responsible for carrying out the sterilization law against undesirables, well, you guessed it, he was just a follower. Please pay 500 marks and then leave. Finally, an aeronautical engineer and industrialist who made a fortune of 36 million marks thanks to slave labor, well, you get the gist by now, he was fined 2,000 marks. Moving on toward the end of the 1940s, across all areas of occupation, leniency gave way to amnesty and a strategy of integration. The chief proponent of this approach was the first chancellor of the new Federal Republic of Germany, or West Germany, Konrad Adenauer. After his election in September 1949, Adenauer advocated for West Germany to forge strong bonds with Western Europe against the communist bloc. This strategy also included for old Nazi cadres to be integrated into the new republic in order to move forward. Towards that end in all this, in May 1951, Adenauer's government passed the first amnesty law, which reintegrated into their position some 150,000 officials and civil servants previously removed by the Allied denazification efforts. The following year, the Chancellor reported to the Parliament that 2/3 of German diplomats were in fact former Nazis. The armed forces, security services, and even the private sector were similarly replete with former Reich personnel. Sir Ivone Kirkpatrick, British High Commissioner in Germany, commented, "Whenever I travelled, I ran into ghosts of Hitler's Reich, men who had occupied positions in the administration, in industry, or the society of the day. They were either living in retirement or were taking jobs in banks, finance, or industry." Despite the amnesty, Adenauer's regime also took steps the other way. For example, in August of 1952, his cabinet banned the neo-Nazi Socialist Reich Party. In September, he agreed to pay the State of Israel
It doesn't really matter where we go. We've got to go across at least half of the map.
Of 3 billion German marks, the equivalent of $8.3 billion in today's value. But Adenauer's intention was to leave the past behind. And in 1954, his government issued the Second Amnesty Law, which this time benefited around 400,000 German citizens. A similar denazification process, culminating in widespread amnesty, was followed in Austria. This country is often excluded from English-speaking accounts of denazification, but we should not forget that Austria was annexed to the Third Reich before the start of World War II. Nor that Austrian citizens actively joined the Wehrmacht, the SS, and the Nazi Party, and therefore the country was occupied by the Allies at the end of the conflict. The Austrian denazification process was led by the four occupying powers: the UK, France, US, and USSR, in collaboration with three other parties: the Social Democratic Party, the Austrian People's Party, and the Communist Party. According to historian Peter Stiefel, the Austrian denazification can be divided into five.
Man, I landed right next to the smell bomb.
Security phase from April 1945 to June 1945, before Allied occupation.
I landed so close to a hell bomb, I'm surprised I'm not dead.
Initial batch of prominent SS and Nazi Party members. Such potentially dangerous individuals were hunted down and detained on the basis of blacklists compiled by the Allied High Commissions. The next phase, from June 1945 to February 1946, is labelled as autonomous denazification.
Called in reset. Everyone can top off.
Which results in contradictory decisions. For example, the US occupation used a 7-page.
Oh man, I thought I could get out of that shit. God damn it.
While the Soviets ditched it completely. In fact, the Soviets acted relatively chill on its occupation, delegating the denazification process to local authorities. They intervened only when they identified something guilty of war crimes on Soviet soil, or when they selected a forensic scientist, but let's say...
At least I got my grenade out.
In February 1946, the Allies devolved
Gnomes!
activities.
My shirt rises up in the back and my backpack gets cold. I hate it.
Local authorities followed 3 laws promulgated to this purpose: the Prohibition Act, the Cleansing Act, and the War Crimes Act. In order to enforce these laws, the government created ad hoc appeals courts consisting of 2 professional judges and 3 lay judges nominated amongst the general public. These tribunals were set up to take very direct actions. No appeal was allowed against their verdicts. Nonetheless, Allied authorities took note that the Austrian judiciary introduced it at a very slow pace and pressured for a quicker uptake. In February 1947, the government issued a new National Socialist law
I did not even look.
regulating the removal of the old rights
Through
vestiges.
blind like a
Fourth
gnome.
phase, which lasted less than 1 year. The fifth and final phase, from 1948 to 1957, is known as the time of amnesties. The first of these involved the so-called Minderheitenstädter, which can be translated as lesser incriminated or lesser offenders. This amnesty was applied to 90% of all registered members of the Austrian National Socialist Party. The Minderheitenstädter amnesty effectively put an end to all major
Blubber pack. Oh.
which is not surprising. Much like in England and Germany, after the onset of the Cold War, each Allied power sought to consolidate local authorities under their sphere of influence. The Austrian principles continued to operate until December 1945. Up to that point, these tribunals had issued 13,607 guilty verdicts. Following the withdrawal of occupation forces from the country, a new constitutional law abolished the people's courts, transferring their duties to standard jury trials. Denazification trials continued for another couple of years, but to a much lesser degree of intensity. In the 1956 to 1957 period, Austrian courts issued a total of 39 verdicts, of which only 19 were guilty sentences. As the denazification efforts in further whittled down, the Austrian parliament voted in favour of a final amnesty in 1957. Besides widespread amnesties, it's no secret that
Hold the Jeep.
former Nazi officials entirely escaped from sanctions thanks to
Beep,
their
beep.
military, scientific, and technical expertise. They were
Stop the Jeep, god damn it.
the Allies. In other countries, this seems to be something history paints as completely acceptable, though when other countries like Argentina are essentially
Wow,
doing
rude.
the same thing, it's more vilified for various reasons. You can see our video why sending Nazis choose to go to Argentina after World War II for more on that. But as for the United States, according to the US Nazi War Criminal Records Interagency Working Group, as early as May the 10th, 1945, the Joint Chiefs of Staff advised the commander of US forces in Europe, General Eisenhower, to make some exceptions when it came to arresting war criminals. Quoting, "In your discretion, you may make such exceptions as you deem advisable for intelligence and other military reasons." Throughout the summer,
Oh yeah, when you should do this on your eyebrows, it keeps them from getting too bushy and weird, and doing this keeps your eyelashes all lined up nicely. You don't need any weird shit to do that either. But yeah, this eyebrow thing, I think it's more effective when I'm sweating and stuff. My pores will feel all open, but you know, every now and then it's a nice thing to do. Oh! Suck it. Oops, I misworded, and now I'm fucking worded. The butcher of anything. If you're known as the butcher of anything, remember that butcher in? Was it the butcher in? Oh my shitballs! In Diablo. Das Butcher.
They were interested in gaining a technological edge. As early as July 1945, they explicitly authorized.
Well, that was spicy. Okay, that's a little too spicy for me right now.
Those rare minds, the 350 German and Austrian scientists and technicians, to be brought immediately to America under Operation Overpass. By 1946, the
German outpost purge.
Intelligence Objectives Agency sought
Nothing against Germans, just Nazis. And the people that were Nazis.
This was a complicated endeavor, as some of those chosen thousands were high-ranking members of the Nazi Party. At least one of them, rocket scientist Werner von Braun, had been an SS officer. The plan required presidential blessing, which President Truman granted in September 1946, insisting that only so-called nominal Nazis should be allowed in the program. Certificated German and Austrian citizens who had joined the party out of convenience or coercion, but had not actively supported them. The new expanded program took the name of Operation Paperclip. In early 1947,
Paperclip, oh my shit.
Departments of Justice and State began combing dossiers of prospective scientists for relocation to the US, based on
Dive, nigga, fire! Dive, motherfucking goddamn it! Well, that's gonna get me canceled. Fuck you! Nah, I'm gonna restart this fucking stream. God damn it.